Vibes Cuisine is brought to you by the best dressed chicken, one of the fine products from the Jamaica Broilers group. It's time for the Caribbean cooking show with international flavor, Vibes Cuisine.
Welcome to Vibes Cuisine. I'm your host, Michelle Jones, and on today's show, I'm going to be doing another one of our economical gourmet recipes. I'm going to be using my content beef mince to make a meatball that I'm going to show you how we could present it in 3 different ways. It is going to be fast, easy, economical, and scrumptious. Today, we are literally whipping up a family favorite. Content beef mince is the base of our yummy meatballs. Be sure to make a big batch because we have 3 ways to serve them. The first thing I'm going to do is I have some whole wheat pasta here, some spaghetti. I'm just going to break it in half and put it into a pot of boiling salted water. That's how I'm going to present one way of my meatballs. I'm going to bring up my beef mince and add my onions to my butter. And I just want these to get nice and soft. Very easy. Now to this, I have about half of a cup of chopped parsley. And I also am going to season very generously with some salt, some black pepper. I have a half a cup of water here, and to that, I'm going to add some breadcrumbs just to soften my breadcrumbs because I didn't use fresh breadcrumbs today. Here, let me just use my hands and I just want them to get nice and wet. Let me work this around. And I also have 2 egg yolks here as well. I'm gonna go ahead, place this directly over my beef. I also have 2 egg yolks. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in as well. And I'm going to also season this with a half a teaspoon of ground allspice, which is ground pimentos, readily available, and a little bit of nutmeg, just to give it some nice flavor. I have some sharp cheddar cheese here that has been grated. I'm gonna put a little bit of the cheddar cheese in it. And now I'm going to use an electric mixer, and I'm going to beat all of this together. Now, if you don't have an electric mixer at home and you're really strong, you can use your hand and you can beat it really well, but you want everything to be very fluffy. I'm actually gonna go ahead and beat this probably for about 5 to 7 minutes so it gets very, very fluffy. Lean content beef comes from grain-fed Jamaican stock. For guaranteed quality and taste, be sure to ask for it by name. I've been beating my beef for about 4 minutes, so I'm just gonna add my cooled onions. And I'm gonna use the same skillet to fry them in. So let me there we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and beat up for about another 2 minutes. Well, my meatballs are ready to be formed, but before that, I'm just going to take off my pasta. To do the meatballs, form them into little tiny meatballs. Now this mixture will probably make you about 5 dozen. I probably won't make so many today. You want to make them a uniform size so that they cook at the same rate. You don't want to make some big ones. Well, my meatballs are formed here, and I have some butter that has melted in my skillet. I just want it to get nice and hot. And then all I'm going to do is just fry them in batches, 4 or 5, maybe even 6. It just depends on how big your pan is because you don't want to crowd it. Anytime you put anything into your pot, the temperature will go down. So if you put too many things in, the temperature will go down too much and it won't cook evenly, and that's not what you want. So I'm gonna put this on nice and high, and then I'm just gonna take up my meatballs and place them in. Hear them sizzle. And I have a clean plate ready to place them on when they're finished. You'll want to put them on the same plate because that would be contaminating your good food with the raw food or your cooked food with the raw food. We don't want to do that. Alrighty. Alright, I'm taking my last set of meatballs out of my skillet, and now I'm going to make a really quick gravy. Turn up my heat, and I'm going to add this flour. I'm going to bring up everything from underneath, all those great brown bits. I'm going to also add my onions to this. And I just want I'm going to scrape up all of the brown bits. This is where all the great flavor is. This is going to be a delicious gravy. Now I have some stock here. I'm going to go ahead, this is about a cup. Pour it in. You don't have to use stock. You could use water if you prefer. You could use beer, and that would be nice. This is going to come up to a boil. I'm going to re-season this with tips of black pepper and a little bit of salt. And whilst it's coming to a boil, I'm just going to put like just a splash or two of milk. Let this boil, and it'll thicken quite nicely. And then I'm just going to drop my meatballs right back in so that it's covered with this great gravy. I'm just going to slide them all in. Very good. Okay, I've set up here everything for our presentation. I'm just going to take out maybe about 3 of our meatballs just to show you what they would be like as hors d'oeuvres. Now this meatball sandwich is going to be really plain, very easy. The gravy is going to get sopped up and the onions with this bread. You can use cocoa bread. Oh, cocoa bread would be so good. You can use regular hardo bread. I love hardo bread in sandwiches because it's so big and it really takes sauce nicely. Now let me also just take a little bit of my gravy and just pour it right on top. And for our last dish of the day, and this was just 2 pounds of content beef, and you see how much I'm getting. Actually, a little less than 2 pounds. I didn't cook all the meatballs that you saw. This is my last one. So here we have our content meatballs 3 ways.
Here you are, meatballs served 3 ways. Spaghetti and meatballs, meatball sandwich, and some meatball hors d'oeuvres.
For details, email us at recipes@vibescuisine.com or visit www.jamaicabroilersgroup.com.
Fitness by Gymkhana. Thanks to all our associate sponsors. Vibes Cuisine was brought to you by the Best Dressed Chicken, one of the fine products from the Jamaica Broilers Group.